1992-93 in Kaduna, a riot broke out which they call the Zango Kataf riot. I was a young boy, very, very young then. And people were killed in scores. If you are not an Afsa person practicing Muslim in Islam, they were killed. Especially if you are from the southern part of Kaduna, the tribes from the southern part of Kaduna, they were massacred. It was called the Zango Kataf riot. And if the next thing they do is to burn churches, kill Christians, and then if they are done with that, then they focus on businesses that is for Igbo people, Igbo owned businesses, and they destroyed it. I grew up knowing that Christians are an endangered species in Nigeria. In the year 2000, when the Sharia riots, how many of you have heard of the Sharia riot? Hundreds of thousands of people were killed in Kaduna. I can remember vividly that we had to defend our house from people. They brought some Fulani boys and they faced our house. They were shooting arrows. They were stoning our zinc. They spot our zinc, shooting arrows. Even though I was a Muslim then. Even though my father was a Muslim then. But because majority of the people in our compound were Christians, so they were willing to destroy every one of us because we were living with Christians. I can remember a particular church in Mando, for those that know Mando, in Kaduna, called Chapel of Redemption. That church was destroyed. And so from that time, anytime there's a little hanky-panky in Nigeria, the first target is churches and Christians. And this has prevailed for a long time. That even if there's a problem with in another country, the Muslim and the Hausas in Nigeria will rise up and begin to kill Christians. How many of you remember the Miss World crisis in 2002, 2001, 2002? That somebody drew a picture of Muhammad or something in France, long away in France, and they began to fight in Nigeria. Are you following me? Christians are endangered species. Now let me give you, and that's how it has continued. Scores have been killed, and they focus on regions where there is a mixture of both Christianity and Islam. If you look at states like Kaduna, states like Plateau State, states like Nasarawa, states like Taraba, states like Benue, states like Bauchi, states like Gombe, states like Borno. These are places where they focus on because they intend to eliminate every living Christian in that place. Anybody that debunks it is a total lie, because I have grown and lived in the north. I've spent 80 to 80% of my life in the north, so I understand this thing. Several times, I cannot forget the Sharia riot. We were running for our lives. Even though we were Muslims, but we're still running, because as far as you are not of the ethnic group, practicing what they practice, you are a victim. You can be burnt alive. Many of us saw human beings that were burnt alive, like roasted like yam. And it has been going on for a long time. The genocide against the Christian faith. Are you with me? Many years ago, in Kano State, a man was beheaded. And anything they talk about that he said blasphemy. And guess who was the person that led it? The man called Sanusi Lamido Sanusi was the one that led him on. And they beheaded him. They killed the Igbo man. They killed him and they put his hand on the stake and they were using it to parade the city. You will understand of a woman also that is an evangelist. An evangelist Eunice that was preaching about 2016 or 18 in Abuja. And they killed her. We cannot talk about a young girl called Deborah Samuel that was killed. I schooled in Jos, and for years, the people of Plateau have been massacred. Riot breaking out every single time. The word that the moment anything happens, the next people that are victims are Christians. And it is unfortunate that all these years the government have not been able to do anything about it. But the agenda is deep. Are you with me this morning? Why am I saying? Because I don't want us to be an ignorant people. If we are ignorant people, they will control the narrative. And this days, let me tell you this truth. God will not come and fight for you. Remove that thing from your mind. If Christians don't rise up, pray from that till tomorrow. God is not coming to fight for you. Are you with me? Now, in the year 2009, Boko Haram started. Boko Haram started because of a section. It was a political movement. They created Boko Haram as a political talks to bring confusion into the government of Goodluck Jonathan. And to be able to, destroy any opposition, starting from Borno State, under the watch of a man called Kashim Shettima, which is now the vice president of Nigeria. Kashim Shettima and the other man, Ali Mohammed Sharif. These were the people that started the business of Boko Haram as a political talks to be able to oppose their opponents. But after a time, the ideology grew and they began to destroy. Now, it became a problem and they began to use it to destroy, bombing here and there. In 2009, 2010. As of 2010, a man led a meeting in Jos. Are you with me? He led a meeting that they were going to annihilate Christians within the locality of Plateau, Borno, Plateau, Bauchi, Kaduna, and Nasarawa. And he said they are going to perform jihad. They will bring jihad and they will go to kill them. If the Islamic leaders are not willing to lead them, he is ready to lead the movement. I have the minute of that meeting in my phone presently. Guess who is that person? Issa Pantami, that was the former minister of communication under Buhari's regime. And several times, these are people that are terrorist sympathizers. And that is why the Nigerian army has not been able to win the war against the terrorism. Because people have, the terrorists have infiltrated the Nigerian ranks, the army ranks, so they cannot win the war. That said, Osama bin Laden was a better Muslim than he is. He was sad when Osama bin Laden was killed. And he has said it several times that Boko Haram should not be killed. He said they are their Muslim brothers. How do you win a war against terrorism when there are people high in government that are sympathizers to terrorism? How do you win that war? Now, there are 4 categories of insecurity or people that are causing insecurity. Number 1, you have Boko Haram. Number 2, you have bandits. Number 3, you have Fulani herdsmen. Now I'm going to show you how they are connected. Many people don't know. The Boko Haram and the Fulani herdsmen have one mission. The mission is simple: Islamize Nigeria. Come to a territory that are Christian dominated, kill everybody there, occupy their land. Go to Benue, look for a community, kill them there, occupy their land. That's always me. Boko Haram and the Fulani herdsmen. Have you noticed that Fulani herdsmen they don't kidnap, they kill? There's hardly a place you hear that Fulani herdsmen capture that they say these are Fulani herdsmen. No, when they go, they kill. How do they kill? They kill with guns. You must now ask yourself, how does a Fulani man get AK-47? Do you know the cost of one AK-47? One AK-47 is over $1,000 something. Where will a Fulani man be able to obtain to be able to get one AK-47? Are you with me? And now, so you will know that there are people that are sponsoring this movement. Then the Boko Haram and the Fulani men, they go about Christian-dominated areas. You will understand that when this terrorism started in Nigeria, that only people that were killed were Christian churches. You will not hear that they kill anyone. It is Christians and churches. I remember in Kaduna then that churches began to look for security men to guide their churches in every service day. Otherwise, you can be in church and the next is boom, everybody dies. And churches that don't have money to hire soldiers began to use some of their members. I was a member of the security team in my church in Deeper Life in Kaduna in 2010. Because we don't stay in the church. Once I come to the church in the morning, we stay outside, moving around patrolling, because anybody can come and drop anything. So when Boko Haram started, the majority of Muslims, the Hausa, Northern Muslims, they were happy. I know of people that were celebrating it. If you see them crying today, I'll tell you why. At the initial beginning of this thing, they were happy celebrating the killings of Christians. They said they are purging Nigeria of RNA. It was majorly on Christians and Christian-dominated areas. But when it comes to 2014, the man Buhari and APC that wanted to overthrow the government of Jonathan, by all means, decided to employ mercenaries from Niger, from Chad, from all those Fulani, from other African nations where they're Fulani, and they brought them into Nigeria. What was the goal? The goal was that if Jonathan does not concede defeat in the election, they were going to rain hell on Nigeria. So they brought in these mercenaries, and they equipped them with rifles, the Aerofiles, the Buharis. Are you with me? The Aerofiles, the Buharis. Every one of these people called APC, they brought in mercenaries and armed them in the bushes and told them to wait. The moment Jonathan did not concede defeat in the election, they were going to start. But unfortunately for them, Goodluck knew of the assignment. He got intel about them because the man said his ambition does not worth the blood of millions. So the man conceded defeat and left. And so they declared APC winner. Now, you have already brought people from different parts to come and fight. But what they wanted to come and fight for did not achieve anymore. So now they left those people in the bush. They left them with guns and ammunition in the bush. And when Buhari became the president, he abandoned them. Instead of them to settle them and let them go back, they abandoned them. And the people saw Nigeria as a place that is good. And the people decided to remain in Nigeria. Those are the people that started bandits. Before, we don't have anything like bandits. Banditry started under the watch of APC, under Buhari, because they were the ones that brought them in. Kidnapping, because they needed to survive. So they started by kidnapping. And they started by kidnapping. And they started by kidnapping. And they started by kidnapping. Over time, now, you understand that there are certain parts of this nation where there are mineral resources. Don't be an ignorant Christian. Follow me. Don't be an ignorant Christian. Don't be in a nation where you don't have understanding of what is happening. Now, there are some parts of Nigeria where there are good resources. And this is have been illegally mined by elites, the military generals, the oligarchs, the people that are the leadership of the North. They were mining these resources, and the money does not go into the federal government account. So what they do is that they employ the services of this banditry to create two things. Number one, to create diversion. So when you go to Zamfara, that's why you hear that they say there is killing in Zamfara now. It's because of the Ilema gold mine. There is gold in Zamfara that they are mining. And so these bandits that are already in the bush, some people collaborate with them, partnered with them, and told them to keep creating confusion, create chaos. When you keep creating chaos, the Nigerian state and the people of Nigeria will not be able to focus on the illegal mining. They'll be concerned about the insecurity. So the insecurity is created as a means of diversion in the north. Are you following me? It is created as a means of diverting the attention of the military and the Nigerian populace from being able to focus on the illegal mining of resources. And any part of the north where there is resource, you find that insecurity there. Recently, it has started in Kwara because there's a great amount of lithium in Kwara too that they have discovered and they're mining. So they partner with the Chinese because the people that does this illegal mining are the Chinese. They partner with the Chinese to be able to. So the bandit became the security men of Chinese and all those people to protect them. So that while they are mining, they can begin to cause chaos. Because while the people are mining and they are causing chaos, kidnapping, nobody will be able to focus on what the Chinese are doing and those people illegal mining. Every single day to this moment, I'm telling you, they are mining in those places. And they will take it to an airfield in the bush and fly it out of Nigeria. They are making billions of dollars from it every day while people are being killed. That is why you now hear that Muslims are saying that they are killing Muslims too. What you have, it is what Buhari created. The APC-led administration created. The banditry they created is what is affecting the North now. Because the people they brought to come and kill Nigeria in 2015 did not succeed because good luck relinquished power to them. And now the people have become thugs. They have become tools to be used in the hand of men that are using them to secure their illegal gold mines. And that's why you kill them. That's why you hear that they say they are killing Muslims. Now, the Christian persecution and genocide has been there. So, you find that the other part, the Muslim and the Fulani men keep going around killing in all those parts. And the Christians and the churches have been silent for too long. This evil has prevailed in Nigeria because the righteous men have been too quiet. If we're ever going to win against insecurity in Nigeria, Nigeria must put two things Nigeria must do. Number one, Sharia law must be completely abolished in Nigeria. Because Nigeria is not an Islamic state. Why will Nigeria, some part of Nigeria, be practicing Sharia? The law guiding them, the constitutional law, that believe that if somebody deserves to die because he speaks against his God. Can a Hausa man insult Jesus and I kill him for insulting Jesus? But somebody believes when you speak against Muhammad, you deserve to die. How do you live in a country with somebody that have that kind of mentality? The military have become complicit. They are compromised. Nigerian military cannot win this war. 20 years from today, I'm telling you, 20 years from today, this thing of insecurity will not end because there are people that are enjoying it, benefiting from it, and reaping from it. If Nigeria wants to win this war, partner with America. Let them come and militate. I'm not sure I've seen that in Kano yesterday, some people were protesting that they don't want America to come. Because they believe what they have been told is that if America is coming to kill Muslims, and the man says he wants to come and kill terrorists, but they are protesting. Anybody that is negotiating, people like Ahmed Gumi, Sheikh Gumi should be locked away. A terrorist sympathizer is a terrorist. A man that believes that you are not supposed to kill a terrorist is himself a terrorist. A man that believes that we should go and negotiate. How do you go and negotiate with terrorists? Because you see, terrorists are not just criminals. They are working with the wrong ideology. A man that believes that killing he has nothing to lose. How do you negotiate with a man that believes that killing himself is going to meet their God in heaven to collect 72 virgins? How do you negotiate with such a person? A man like Sheikh Gumi should be locked away. A man like Ali Muhammad Bushari should be arrested. You want to win against terrorism, you must go brutal. No nation win against terrorism by pampering them. The custom is taking rice, seizing rice from Nigeria and taking it to terrorists in the bush that they need to take care of them because they are human beings. No. The moment you have become a terrorist, that you see that taking the life of your fellow human being is nothing, is to please a God, then you don't deserve to live. Children of God, I'm not going to ask you to pray because this is not a period of prayer. This is a period of action. Reverend Dr. Ezekiel from Jos, the man that have been speaking, have paid attention. Not for once have they invited the man for interview because they don't want to give the man any airtime. But you see, any little thing they will call Gumi and give him microphone. Gumi, they are inviting Gumi up and down. The media is complicit. The Nigerian military are complicit. You can't win war with this Nigerian army, not because they don't have the capacity, but because they are compromised. Buhari created banditry. The people like Gumi and the rest of them, they are the people that facilitated the idea of Boko Haram. And today, some of them are your leaders in government. Some of them, most of them are moving free. Not one have been arrested. Kabiru Sokoto that bombed Nyanyan in 2011. When they rearrested him, guess where they got him? In the house of Shetima in Abuja. What is he doing in the house of Shetima if Shetima doesn't know him? But today, Shetima is your vice president. How do you win a war where terrorists are ruling you? Where terrorist sympathizers are moving around? This is not a period to say we are praying. No! This is a period of wisdom. This is a period of action. Churches in the south have no idea. They sit in their cozy churches with us employing them. They don't know what it means to be in the north. They don't know what it means to be running for your life. That every Sunday in the church there in Kaduna, when they say let us pray, everybody is praying with one eye open. Because you don't know God might go up at any time in the church. The Nigerian church must rise up. There's an agenda. And if you read the minutes of that meeting in 2010 led by Isa Patami, you will not believe it. I have a recording of his messages. Where's the people where he said, why will they be killing their people? Why he said, why would they be killing these Muslim brothers, referring to Boko Haram as their Muslim brothers? How do you win with such a people in government? And that guy was a minister under Buhari for 8 years. Do you know what I'm telling you this morning? You are a Nigerian. If you are not aware of what is happening around you, in a short time, one day your calamity will just come. You will not know how. Are you with me? The banditry that is destroying them in the north was created by the people Buhari brought for mercenaries to destroy Nigeria in 2015 in case he did not win. Unfortunately, he won, and those people were left without fight. And they began to use the weapons they have been provided for. These guys have sophisticated their weapon. They move logistics, move money in dollars. Where do you think they're getting it from? You think it's from the sale of cow? No. The Bible says, watch and pray. We have been praying. This is the time to do what? To watch.
If all these messages like this are false, before you know it, the security agency is supposed to arrest or invite somebody like this for misleading Nigerians. But they cannot do it because now truth, and the man they talk. And not just only him alone. So many persons don't talk over the years. How this insurgency, bandits, Boko Haram, they start. Is it not a shameful thing? Hashim Shettima, Vice President of the Federal Republic, they mention his name in all of this. Mo who talk say the only thing that is constant in life is change. Probably as at the time when he started, he got different from today as the Vice President of this nation. What has he done in making sure that now me start this thing, let me end it? Instead, if not America, where he come out, begin to tell the world that Christian genocide is happening in Nigeria. And so for your day inside as if nothing is happening and nobody could raise that awareness. Ever since we talk, all of them, they run scatter. Mr. President, you are the chief security officer of this Nigeria as a nation. You get what you sign with the northern leaders that anything that has to do with insurgency, so long as that is where they are feeding from, you not go touch them or what. Because you have been so silent about it. Campaigning, talking about 2027 presidential election, how to rule all the governors so that you will have one party system without tackling the challenges. Yele what our own, they just underplay them as if nothing was happening. VDM went there and he exposed it. All this while, you have not seen the need to tackle it the way it should be. You just move on, treating it bit by bit so that when you are leaving, you also hand over it to another next government without eradicating it totally. If Americans are coming, there's need for them to help because the top military officers some of them, they have this sympathy, soft spot for their brothers who are terrorizing the country. But if in our country, we be say, truly speaking, we really know what they do. We value lives and property of Muslim and non-Muslim Christians. I believe by now, some of those top hierarchy officers, where this man of God just mentioned, they're supposed to bring them out. All the names so far mentioned, they're supposed to arrest them. Gumi is almost like the second president of Nigeria or Nigeria president representing the North. Every now and then they keep interviewing him, speaking against Christian genocide campaign. Yet, the same Dachumo who has made it known to the world that there's something like this happening, waiting can happen to them. When I invite and make it for interview, the man can't say no go come. No, because they don't want to give him a voice to speak out, waiting in know. And the social media has been the only avenue through which he's been passing information across. Supposing Nigeria government go do, just like some emir in the northern part of the country were saying in some other times that social media is becoming a terrorist group. Supposing go let them wipe away, shut down and say nothing like social media, maybe they would have done it. Now this goes to show that even the conventional media houses we will get, all the television stations, they are compromised. They are aiding and abetting. They are only just trying to play to the gallery so that some of their stations will not be sanctioned by the government. Because if not, waiting stop now from that same man who went to grave site where over 500 persons were buried. The man where they for burn churches, do video there, make the call him, interview and make him still hear his own views. Nothing of such. Yet, bit by bit, every now and then you keep seeing Gumi talking about Americans not to come to Nigeria. It is sad. And at this point, if this marriage will work, I beg make we embrace her, come back to drawing board again, and begin to rearrange the plans and every other constitutions that will be binding on all of us. But the idea of you practice Sharia for not, and not be only Muslim, they not, and you expect everybody, Christian and Muslim, to abide by your rules, where the rules not supersede the constitution of Nigeria, I believe is an aberration. As a thing everybody must disregard. We have larger Christians in the southern part of the country. Have we ever in any way tell the same Muslim that there's need for them to observe the manner and the way we practice our own religion? No, we have them to do whatever they want to do, give them that freedom. But how come the Christians in the northern part of the country are not getting that freedom? And these killings have been happening over the years. The government of the state and the government at the federal level have not seen anything about it, and they have never made a drastic action or make a pronouncement that this thing, henceforth, if it happen, somebody must be held accountable. Is it not a shame? Say the Deborah where they stood to death up to now, videos, pictures of those ones who send out to early grave, it on social media. But the government have not issued arrest warrants. These people, they must be brought to book. The one wey happen for Oromi the last time, every now and then, both the federal government, everybody they talk. But the one who not buy, we know if offend una, but nobody have said anything about it. It is so shameful that even most of our daddy Jews, those Christians at the helm of affair, who have that power to even make changes and make pronouncements, all of them remain quiet, as if maybe you guys are subservient to some of our counterparts at the northern part of the country. Where are we going in this kind of marriage? Anyway, whatever you think, drop your comment in the comment section once again. Share and follow the page. For the record, if the army are being compromised, that they can't do is simply because they have sympathy, love for those terrorists who despise Nigerians. I believe we need somebody, a group of persons who don't know anybody. If you are guilty, you are going for it. If you are free, then let you go. Americans, for now, I believe they should be welcomed, because if we are thinking of now, so they will come carry our mineral resources come out. The mineral resources you are talking about, ever since we they discover them, how has he helped Nigerians? Is it not the same suffering everybody is suffering as so long as that country is concerned? Do you know that if they have to use it the way it's supposed to be, no single Nigeria will even see the need to come up for the country? Like South Africa, they get mineral resources pass us. Hardly before you go see any of their citizens say they won't go queue for airport, say they want go embassy, say they won't travel out of their country, because they are managing what they have there, and it's okay by them. They are even telling foreigners, "Mona come out, we get waiting will sustain us here." What do they have there that we don't have in Nigeria? But how could the one we will get come? Because some of them are using it for their own selfish interest, causing chaos. Don't you think if that same mineral resources, we use part of them to settle Americans so that they can provide security of us, it can be well maintained, so that at the end of the day, you and I will live peacefully. The few ones amongst us that are making life unbearable can be taken out. Because anything you want to do in life comes with price. We have to negotiate. We need peace. Peace matters a lot. If they want to take part, which they are taking legally out of the country today, legally we give it to some persons, give us security, and they can't give us. Work with us, make sure that whatever we need to tackle insurgency, they give us, and we really tackle it. It will be of great help to Nigerians as a whole.